Welcome back, everybody. The RP Show is brought to you in part by CoolBet. Claim your welcome bet bonus up to $200 with the promo code RP200 at coolbet.com. And I erred by asking for questions from the viewers, Coach. I erred. I just got a tidal wave of questions for you from the viewers. But welcome to the RP Show, Coach Mike Miller of the Toronto Argonauts. Happy New Year, my friend.
Thank you, Rod, and Happy New Year to you too, buddy. Really excited to do this. Jim asked me about it yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, but big fan of the show. We often have it on in the office in the afternoon, and from the ringing the bell to the kazoo to, all your comments, you get the room laughing. So really excited to be here today.
Well, I appreciate that, Coach. Well, nice to meet you. And by the way, Coach Barker said that you had said, now that you're a head coach, can you get on the RP show? And I wondered, how does he even know about us? But I guess you just explained that. I got a lot of great friends in that Argos organization. But, Coach, listen, I said it earlier, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Arizona, coaching in the NFL, Montreal and Toronto in the CFL, and various other leagues. You waited 30 years to be a head coach. You've had the job for a month. How's it feel?
It feels good. I mean, it's just the next step. Different things. Like I was just doing some scheduling yesterday and things like that you're not familiar doing. It was a tough part at first. I mean, you're putting together your staff. And a lot of times, as I said, I mean, you come into this from the outside, and I had been here before. So had some hard conversations, hard decisions to make. But, in the end, I was happy how that all came together. And I guess we had our announcement for that yesterday. But just as we do everything else, Rod, one day at a time, buddy.
Yeah, that's what my bracelet says right here. You have to. At least I have to. That's the way that it works. But I got to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you some fun NFL questions too, but like the CFL, as you clearly know, there's just something about it. There's something about it. What is it that you love about the CFL?
So it's a funny you asked that, because when I was in Buffalo, I crossed over with Marv Levy a little bit, and we had a chance to talk about his experience there. And he actually recommended, if I ever get a chance as an offensive guy, to make sure I get a chance to work up there because of the creativity that it allows, the imagination. And boy, was he right. That part is what I really enjoy. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's the moving guys everywhere and creating matchup issues. And it's just exciting game. I mean, it's the two downs, and then there's all these possession changes. And I just kind of feel up here, you're never really out of it. And you have to play this game all the way to the end, and that I really like.
Well, let me ask you a technical question, and then we'll get to the fun questions. Like with the 35-second play clock, you've been in all the leagues, so I wouldn't think it would be a huge adjustment, but how big of an adjustment is it? Because in 2026, after 100 years of a 20-second play clock, we're going to a 35-second play clock in the CFL. How big of a change is that going to be for everybody?
Well, I mean, I guess we're going to have to find out. I mean, how fast they're going to start that, how far our players have to go to get to that huddle. I mean, we play on a bigger field up here. And I know, the refs were always, I thought, pretty fair about that, about when they would start that play clock. So I don't know. We're just going to have to see how it goes and be ready to adjust to it.
I'll dip into some viewer comments here now because I asked for them. I gotta answer it or placate them. Is it sure. Ryan? Oh, it's Paul in Humboldt. Sask writes in. He says, "Who is Coach Miller's head coach role model?" I got to guess, but do you want to answer it?
So that's pretty funny. In fact, I said it's Corey, I believe, that I was talking to. And I said, hey, he's got a Steeler jersey on, or a Steeler sweater on today. Yeah, for sure. Bill Cowher is a huge mentor of mine. There's another guy, his name was Dan Radakovich, who he went by Bad Rad. He unfortunately has since passed, but Rad coached with Joe Walton, who was a former head coach of the New York Jets, both Pittsburgh guys, as I am, and worked at Robert Morris with them. But then it was Bill Cowher who I got to watch as a front office intern. I was in PR, media, and operations, and went into scouting in the off season. And that's to say I drove guys to their physicals or wrote down their reports. And but it was Coach Cowher who I learned a great deal from. And one of the things that always jumps off the page to me is something that Coach Cowher displayed to us was you'll never meet anybody that almost ran to adversity like he did. Always next man up, or okay, what's our answer to this? Almost like you could feel he gained energy from it. And that was something I learned from, that it's about us finding a way to get it done. And of course, the intensity he has about playing the game and doing business the right way. And of course, smart, fast, and right in your physicality is something that I learned from him.
Mike Miller is with us, the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. So I'm going to combine this with my comment and the viewer question. Ted in Red Deer says, hey, Coach Miller, how easy or hard was it to fill your staff as a first-time head coach? I smiled when I saw Greg Quick's name on there as your defensive coordinator, because we had him in Sask. I loved him, and I said he reminds me of Foghorn Leghorn. You're old enough. I say. He sounds like you. Clearly, you guys are pretty tight.
You know what? I had not known Greg other than handshake before the game. But somebody that I've watched from afar, have a lot of respect for Noel Thorpe and the defense that Greg was a part of and what they do there in Montreal. And was always difficult. You really have to dot your I's and cross your T's when you're preparing for that defense. So that was something that was very interesting to me. And went through the interview process, just became a very strong candidate. And then something that was very important to me, Rod, was putting together a culture with our coaching staff. Guys that have an agreed upon skill set, but are great teachers. And I like to think they're even better human beings. And because just like players, we ask that the adversity is going to come. And that's when you have to be able to pull together as a team, move together as one unit, and be there for each other and all those things that it takes to have a positive culture. So that was part of it too. So it's nice to hear that your experience with Greg is very familiar with what everyone else had told me, and has certainly been a part of my experience here in this first month that we've had a chance to work together.
It's a small league. You better be a good guy. And, speaking of that culture, I asked Pinball once, I said, what's your secret? I don't think anybody's won more Grey Cups than Pinball. And he said, as a team,
and he said, I know that.
Right. Yeah. He said, we value people. And I'm like, yeah, say no more. I get it. So obviously that wasn't a hard mesh for you and your GM.
No, not at all. And that's been nice for me too, that I've been here for 4 years and have gotten to know Pinball and other members of our organization. And that's been great. And through the interview process, I think that was something that was a smooth process for he and I, that I believe we look at things the same way like that. Yeah.
Mike Davis vouched for you too. My Vegas guy. Not like I didn't do my research here. My good friend with the Las Vegas Nighthawks indoor football league team. Okay, here's one of my questions before I go back to the viewers. Tell me a Kurt Warner story, please. You went to the Super Bowl. He was your quarterback with the Arizona Cardinals. I love him, as well we all do. Tell me a great Kurt Warner story.
Well, you know what, Rod, I will say one thing I do want to say is Mike Davis in Vegas, I've only spoken to, but, have a tremendous amount of respect for the job he does. I don't know how he does it, but he finds these players that are just outstanding. And then same way, they're also great people. So those people down in Vegas, they've really got a great team to go support down there and a great coach. Kurt Warner story. So there are so many of them. I think maybe one so something that I talk about, there's a funny one, but there's one that kind of illustrates to me something that I learned from Kurt, because working with a guy like that, it was like getting a PhD in football every day. And as as good as we like to think we are at times, but there's always room to learn. And I believe in having a collaborative environment. And because we think we have a good starting point, but we're never finished products, right? So with Kurt, when he and I started working together my first year as the coordinator in 2009 after the Super Bowl, we try to have rules. And then learning from Sam Weiss, I said this at my press conference, we believe that we can try to get guys 97% of the way ready. And I said, well, Sam, why is it just 97, not 100? He said, well, it's because inevitably they're going to come plays in a game. They're going to exist in a 3% gray area. You just have to know how to apply their rules and stretch them to be able to be successful in those situations. So I immediately, when I worked with Kurt and we were developing our rapport and being disciplined in our rules and execution, there was a simple route that we had: one high, you threw to the right in this formation, and two high, you threw to the left. Well, it was a one high look, and Kurt threw it to the two high side. And as I turned around, I said, hey, why did you go to the one high side over there trying to maintain some accountability? And he said, well, I could see that the Will linebacker had his inside foot lined up inside the outside foot of that edge rusher. And I knew from there he couldn't get to that slot receiver. And with the safety that far off, I knew we were going to have a big play. Immediately, I thought of Sam. That's 3% right there that the great ones have to be able to operate. And I said, good point, Kurt. Great job. So
I was going to say, you guys collaborated. Yeah, you guys collaborated on an offense. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, we have our rules, but if they see something outside of it, but with a caveat, they better make it work. And Kurt certainly did make it work more times than he didn't. So yeah, we had a great time. I really enjoyed working with him, and it was great to see how a guy that caliber goes about preparation with that detail too.
Toronto Argonauts head coach Mike Miller with us. Here come the Bills fans. Where the hell is it? Jeff writes in from Toronto. He says, good afternoon, Coach. What did you learn from Mike Mularkey in Buffalo, and any memories of Bills Mafia?
Yeah, boy, I love my time in Buffalo. Mike was part of the crew when I went on with the Steelers as the quality control coach for 5 years, and then I went with Mike as the tight ends coach. Mike is just an outstanding human being, a great family man, very intelligent, technique, detailed, and his organization. So, and he has the same physical philosophy about playing this game. And Mike's big thing was we finished with one violent shove on offense. And that's something that I've carried with me too. And Mike's also a guy I stay in touch with and continue to pick his brain. The Bills Mafia, outstanding. I mean, that parking lot outside then, we called it Rich Stadium, looked like a Civil War encampment on Monday with the fires still going and garbage piled up around the light post, and they're just so intense. And we're great in the community. We're great in the community, and I miss them. I mean, they were great to play for. And look, I can appreciate too that if you're doing it right, they're going to let you know. And if you need to do it better, they're going to let you know that too. And it's a blue collar town that I respect, coming from Pittsburgh. And yeah, I really enjoyed that environment, and I still pull for those guys too.
It's funny you say that, because last hour the viewers were saying the fans should get a report card like the players did for the owners. I said, you have one every Sunday when you're sitting in the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, I'm not saying I'm jumping on tables either, though, Rod.
You don't? That's not your thing?
I'm not taking that leap with them either. No, that's not my thing.
Okay. Mark in Burlington writes in, the wonderful community, Burlington, Ontario. Mark says, will Chad Kelly play? I understand he was at your news conference supporting you with that. So I guess you see him under center in week 1.
Yeah, we do. That's our mindset right now. Chad continues to go through his rehabilitation, getting strong, and we have no reason to believe at this time that he won't be our starting quarterback as we open training camp.
There are a lot of questions regarding you guys being kicked out of BMO Field because of the soccer. I'm trying to word them all together in one. All I will say is that's a challenge, and you've obviously gone to work already on how you're going to deal with that.
Yeah, sure. So, I've heard that when I was going through the interview process and had friends around the league or just in general saying, "Hey, that's not really ideal." And I said, "Yeah, no, it's not ideal, but the last I checked, that field is the same size everywhere else that it is here in BMO." And I said, outside of that, if we need to, we can use a silent count. And I'm always looking for ways to build mental toughness. And if a team is going to be able to say, "Hey, well, we had to play this many games on the road," well, that's not really the mental toughness answer I'm looking for. And I don't think that we're looking for from the Argonauts. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. And we play our schedule. And we're not looking for excuses. We're not looking for explanations. And we're not looking for complaints. We're going to be looking for answers and way to get it done. And it's just going to cause for a greater focus. We got to have attention to detail in our preparation so that we have urgency in our execution and that we go out and we play the game in a very physical way where we're going to take great pride in our ability to hit because we want to be accountable. We want to be disciplined. We want to have that respect and trust, but then we want individuals that are going to come to work with great passion. And when you have that, it's just going to be an aggressive mindset of going out to compete, whether that's here at BMO, whether that's in the cold at Winnipeg or Sask, or in the dome at BC, or in that Labor Day contest that's always so tough in Hamilton. That this is passion in CFL from the fans, from the players, from the coaches, and we're looking forward to it.
You're firing me up right now, Coach. The Argos have always been my number 2 team. They might end up being my number 1 team by the time we're done here. Just a quick one. It's going to be fun watching you assimilate to the CFL fans and everything as they get to know you better. Bill writes in from Regina. He says, "Good morning, Coach. There are a number of Argo fans here in Sask. Is the team staying in Regina to practice before the Calgary game in June? I guess they want to come watch you practice."
I have not gotten that far yet, Hot Rod. So tell who was that wrote in?
Bill in Regina.
Tell Bill as soon as I get that answer, he's going to be the first to know.
Okay, there you go, Bill. I mean,
Right.
You had a staff to name, a roster to go over. Trust me, I get it. Vancouver Eric writes in. He says, "Coach Miller has the Gruden voice." Yeah, I guess. Well, you're from Pittsburgh, right? Gruden's from St. Louis, so that's maybe. Is Pittsburgh considered Midwest or East?
Well, that's a big argument. Pittsburghers think we're in the East, but everyone else thinks we're the East part of the Midwest. So somewhere in there, I guess, is the right answer.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Arlen Bruce writes in, 2-time Grey Cup champion, former KC Chief, says, "Coach Miller is a genius when it comes to X's and O's. From my short time with Coach Mike, good luck this upcoming season, Coach." That's from Arlen Bruce. So we got all the famous people watching today. Yeah, Mike, that's it.
Kind.
Thanks for all you do. Congrats on the job, and go Argos. All the best in 2026.
Thanks, Rod. Yeah, I really appreciate it, Rod. Again, big fan of your show, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Coach. The great Mike Miller. Man, he's gained a lot of fans here, I think, in this interview. I appreciate him coming on and the support from the Toronto Argonauts and making it happen. We'll be coming right back with a sports update right after this and viewer takeover, Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.